Hi everyone. In this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to add an armature and bones to a simple character here in Blender. We'll then in another tutorial go ahead and show you how to put it into the game engine so you can actually control and load up and use your animations that you've made. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and start. You can see that I've got a front view and a side view just so you can kind of see what the heck is going on. I'm going to start by left clicking and putting my 3D cursor off to the side. I'm going to do Shift A and add an armature single bone. So there's the single bone there, and if I press G to grab the bone and place it inside the character, you'll see that it looks great from the front view, but you can see that the armature is not actually inside the character. In the side view, once I place the bone inside the character's torso, you'll see that it disappears. We want to be able to see our armature, of course, while we're working with it. So the way that you fix that is you come over here to the far right hand side and you click on the armature panel. It's the one that looks like this little white character. You're then going to scroll down and you'll see a display section, and you're going to choose X-ray, and once you have X-ray you can now see the bone. Alright, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to take this bone and I'm going to press G and grab it, and I'm going to place it right here at the bottom center of the character's torso. I'm then going to press Tab to enter edit mode, and the bone has three parts to it. You've got the head of the bone, which is here at the wider part of the bone. You've got the body of the bone, which is the middle of the bone, and you've got the tail of the bone, which comes here where it gets nice and thin. So I'm going to select the tail of the bone, and I'm going to press G, Z, so that I can go ahead and bring it up here to the neck area and make that bone taller. So now I want a head bone right up here. So when you make child bones, they have to be extruded from the tail of the parent bone. So I've got the tail of the parent bone selected. I'm going to press E to extrude and then Z to lock it to the Z axis. And I'll go ahead and bring it up here to the top of the head. Okay. So now I need to make 4 more bones in total, 2 for the arms and 2 for the legs. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rename these 2 bones. So I'm going to select the torso bone here, and I'm going to come over here to the right and click on the bone panel, and I'll change the name to torso. Select the head bone and rename it head. Okay, so now I want to make the arm bones. So the arm bones are going to be extruded and be child bones out of the torso bone. So I have to select the tail of the torso bone because that's the parent bone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something called X-axis mirroring. And what that's going to do for me is it means that whatever I do on one side is going to be mirrored and be symmetrical on the other side. And that way I will only need to do 50% of the work, and so it's really efficient. So after selecting the tail of the torso bone, I'm going to come over here on the left-hand side, the left-hand toolbar, and I'm going to click on the Options tab. You see I've got these 3 tabs here. And under the Options tab, I'm going to activate X-axis mirror. So whatever I do on one side gets mirrored on the other side. So now I'm going to extrude, and instead of just doing a regular extrusion by pressing E, I'm going to press Shift E. And when I press Shift E, you'll see that I'm getting a mirrored extrusion. So now I'm going to press X and it locks my movement to the X axis, and I'm going to go ahead and stop it about here. Now if I go ahead and I select this bone here, I want to put it inside the actual arm. So if I select the bone and I press G and go to grab it, you'll see that both arm bones are moving, but it's also damaging and affecting the head and the torso bone, which I don't want. So now what I need to do is I need to disconnect. I need to disconnect these 2 bones here, so that way they can be unattached to this spine here. So I'm going to shift right click and select both arm bones. I'm then going to press Option P, and I'm going to choose this option here called Disconnect Bone. When I do that, I'm now going to grab an arm bone here, press G and grab it, and you'll see that I can now go ahead and place it. And I'm going to place it right here at the top center of the arm. And you'll notice, if I zoom in, you'll notice that there are these black dashed lines showing that these arm bones are in fact parented to the torso bone. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab them and place them right there. I then need to rotate them, so I'm going to press R. I'm going to type in 90 on the numpad and I'll left click. I'll then grab them one last time and place them right here in the center. I'll then grab the tail and I'll go ahead and move it up and down, just get it just right. Okay, so you want to make sure that you are also looking at something called roll. So every once in a while, especially when you rotate a bone, the bone can get rolled. So I'm going to select this bone over here, the arm bone, and I'm going to come over here and look in the bone panel, and you'll see over here that there is this little area here called roll. And so we want to click on that and type in 0 and hit return to reset the roll. Make sure there's no roll on any of your bones. In a nutshell, if you have roll on your bones, it will affect how your bones rotate when you're posing later, and you'll get some unexpected results that are kind of nasty. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and update my save. So now I'm going to go ahead and make those foot bones. So I'm going to start off by selecting the tail of the torso bone, again because I want them to be parented. I'm going to do Shift E, so I do a mirrored extrude. I'm going to press X, so I go ahead and lock them to the X-axis, and I'll left click to place them. I'll then select both leg bones. I'll press Option P so I can disconnect them. I'm going to disconnect the bones, and I'll go ahead and grab them, place them right here on the feet, rotate 90 degrees, and I'll grab them and I'll place them here in the center. I'll select the tail, I'll move it up so it's the right height, and then I'm going to check the roll. So you can see over here on the right, the roll was set to 90 degrees, so I want to reset that. Now you'll notice that his right leg over here, it's not quite centered. And if I go ahead and I grab it, you'll notice that because of the mirror feature, it's just not working out. So what I'm going to do is I can come up here to the top left, temporarily turn off X-axis mirror, and now I can just treat them individually and just get them into the right spot, so that way they're in the middle of the foot. Okay, so I'm just double checking, making sure all of the roll on these bones is set to 0. That checks out. And now I'm going to make sure their names are correct. So I'm going to go ahead and select this arm here, and you can see the name over here. It got called torso underscore L, and it got called torso because it was extruded from the torso bone. So I'm going to go ahead and rename it arm underscore L, and this one over here is going to be arm underscore R. And Blender actually put in the underscore and the right and the left, which is really handy. Now these leg bones also need to be renamed, so this one is going to be not torso again, it's going to be leg underscore L and leg underscore right. Okay, so that is pretty much it. The only thing I need to do now is one last step, and that is to parent the body parts to each bone and then test that parenting relationship, and then in the next video we'll get into some animation. Okay, so here's how you do it. First of all, you're going to get into pose mode, so you're going to press tab and get into pose mode on the bones, and then we're going to start parenting. So I'm going to parent, I'm going to select the body part. In this case I'm selecting the head, then I shift right click and select the head bone, and then I press Control P and I choose bone. I want the second to last command, bone. I'll then repeat. I'll select the arm body part, shift right click, select the bone, and sometimes this is a problem with Blender. It looks like you've got multiple bones selected, so I just restart. I press A, make sure that nothing is selected. So once again, I select the arm object, shift right click and select the bone, Control P, choose bone, deselect all, select the torso, shift right click, select the bone, Control P, and there you go. And it becomes pretty quick once you get the hang of it. Just don't go so quick that you make foolish mistakes, of course. Okay, if you ever need to unparent, so let's say you made a mistake, how do you do it? Well, what you would do is on the armature you would go back into object mode. You would then have to select the body part, then select the armature, and you would press Option P, and you would choose Clear Parent. Okay, that's how you clear the parent. Okay, so now I'm going to do a quick test. So I'm going to make sure you're in pose mode on the armature, and I'm going to start with the head bone, and I'm just going to simply press R, and you can see there it is. He can rotate his head. And I'll press Escape. I'm going to select the arm bone, press R, and he can move. Select the other arm bone, looks good. Select the leg bone, looks good. And there we go. And this is normal that the torso bone moves the entire body. So that's it for part one. That's the hardest part. It's all technical. It's just setting up all the nuts and bolts in the skeleton. In the second video, I will show you how to start actually making action animations. We will make 3 animations. We'll make a walk cycle, a run cycle, and a standing still cycle. And then in the third video, I will show you how to bring all of those animations into the game engine, and we'll put it all in action. So I'll see you in the next video.